what should people be looking for? Or like, how do you hire a copywriter? How do you vet them? What are you looking for? And do you have any, process or something that you've learned after going through this and hiring a bunch of different copywriters?
Yeah. So, there's a few things. The first thing that I can tell people is the more clear you are on what you need, the better the relationship is going to go. There are some writers out there who can just make themselves available and they can be a chameleon and kind of, shapeshift any way they need to, with whether it's a Facebook ad you need them to write, or a product page, or an email, or flow, or a video script, or whatever. But then there's other writers who kind of need to, maybe you have, we just need email copy. We just need someone to work on our landing pages and our website stuff. And there's copywriters who have specializations in those things. So getting clear, like, do you need that person who can be all things, who's, kind of good at everything? Or do you want a medium specific specialist, I guess would be the term that we would use there, right? And sometimes there's some overlap there, but getting clear on that, and also getting clear on like what are the deliverables you need each month, right? Because sometimes people are like, I need a copywriter to do this. And there's this other thing and this other thing. And like, the more clear you are when you go to a writer, or when you're having a conversation, or when you're making a job post, say, I need X amount of emails a month. We need Y amount of product pages. We need Z amount of ad copy, for social, or Google, or whatever it is. That's going to help you.
Let's say like a specific hiring for somebody who can write your emails and also go through and like improve product pages, right? Product descriptions. Because that's a pretty like natural place for an e-commerce business owner, those two places.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I like to find people, like personally, I know with my own hiring, I like to find people who've done it before. And there's obviously that sliding scale with any kind of position, right? It's like the cheaper they are, the less likely it is that they are coming with the processes and the skills and the experience. The more money you pay, then obviously you're usually getting a person who has more skill and experience. So it's also determining what kind of, like, how much education, how much lightning in a bottle do you need in that copywriter, right? Like, how much do you need them to bring to the table? Or your product's selling like hotcakes already, you just need kind of small improvements and things that are not that difficult. And also, another function of that is how hands-on as the brand owner do you want to be? Do you want someone who could just throw projects out all day and you just wipe your hands of it and they, take it and run with it? Because there are a lot of copywriters out there. I was one of those copywriters. I'd be like, just give me what you need. I'll get it done. Turn around fast. It'll be 95% of the way there. You might tweak one or two things, but that's it. Other copywriters need some more hand-holding, and some people are willing to because they want to kind of mold that clay, right? Like, they want to kind of mold the writer and grow with the brand long term. So it's really about figuring out, how much lightning in a bottle do you need from that writer?
Sure. Okay. So let's say you need medium lightning in a bottle. You don't need somebody who's like freaking world class, but you need somebody who's got some skills. Where do you start? Where do you job post? How do you attract someone like that? And then how do you vet them?
So copychief.com is, Kevin Rogers is one of my mentors, and he has, a huge community of writers, not just email writers, but all different types of writers. And they have an awesome job board. So many big companies have gone and recruited writers from there. That's probably one of the best places to find just general all-around writers. And I've seen a lot of e-com brands actually go that route and go through Kevin and his team. That's one way. Another way is we have, when a client reaches out to us just naturally, if they're not a good fit or if they're looking for something different than what we're offering, we'll just connect them, or we'll say, hey, we might be able to connect you with some writers, people that I've trained. So you can always reach out to me as well. I also find, like, if you post on things like Indeed and Monster, it's funny because I told copywriters this who are looking for clients. I'm like, clients go there and post things. Like, they'll post jobs because that's where else do you go that you don't know. So you go to like a bigger job board, and you might post a remote job or a freelance job or a part-time job or any of those, maybe all three of those things, right? So it doesn't have to be that you hire someone full-time. And I would recommend you probably don't hire someone full-time off the bat. You have that 30, 60, 90-day trial period, whatever it is, or at least a few small test projects before you jump in with both feet, to see if you like their style, to see if you like the workflow with that writer, and to see if they're kicking back good work that you could use. And it's not like they write something, you pay them, and then you have to spend an hour editing it, and you could have just done it yourself. And that happens. That happens sometimes because it's like, you got to make sure you have someone who's a match, who understands your products and your brand and your vibe and your voice. And those are, some brands have more, like you look at a brand, I always use the example like Shinesty, like they have a very particular, it's funny. I mean, they're funny as hell. They're a whole team of writers, but they have a very different brand voice than like, just a regular skincare brand or a jewelry brand. Like it's very different. So it's how developed is the voice, right? Sometimes copywriters can help you develop that voice if they're more experienced. So for middle of the road, it's definitely starting with some of those places where copywriters hang out. Usually most of the big communities, like Copy Chief will have those job boards, but I would go there. And going to your network too is probably, if you have other brand owners that who have worked with a copywriter or that
like
writer.
do you have anybody that's done a good job for you? Especially if it's one of those super high leverage things where you can have somebody come in, go through your product pages, make some significant improvements and bump up your conversion rate. And it's kind of a one-time thing. It's not like you need to have that happen all the time.
Yeah, and a product page copy might be a page of copy, right? It's not like you have to pay $10,000 unless you have like, a single product, high traffic funnel. You said that one product is your main front end and you're doing like super crazy cold traffic campaign. Like then maybe you need the best of the best, but for a decent copywriter is going to be able to take whatever you have and make it better. It's kind of like doing a pull-up contest. Like you could, if you're in shape, you could probably win a pull-up contest if you go second, right? If you get to see what the other guy does, okay, he did 10, I'll do 12, you don't have to do 30 to beat that person. So as long as you have something to work with and you can say, here's our voice, here's what the product is, here's who our market is, a good copywriter can take that and probably run with it.
Cool.